Do you ever have those couple of days a year where nothing goes the way it's supposed to? I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. I was thirsty, I was tired, I was exhausted, work's been rough, nothing new there. You know, you just want to sleep sometimes. And then people have a motorcycle that they newly acquired and they just drive it around and around and around and around outside the building, and it just doesn't start your day off very well. So I did eventually pick up 4.5 hours of overtime today. Not a lot, but that's all my patients really had the time for today. But this is how my day has been going. There we go. And I don't know if it's a sensor. So normally the sensors take like 15-ish minutes to actually say like what your interstitial fluids are. This one's been a doozy of a night. Come on. Okay. So I got back home from work at about 8 o'clock, I want to say. Come on. There we go. And my levels are perfectly fine. Come on. Come on. I guess we're not going to go back farther than that. So I got home around 8 o'clock, like I said, and I was feeling fine. Went about my normal, or resumed my cleaning and purging of my acquired possessions because I need to downsize. So I did that for a while, and my level just kind of starts going down, at least according to my pump. And I felt fine, so I just ignored it, and I had a little bit of milk, perfectly fine, but it just, oh, come back here. There we go. It just dipped down. So for like an hour, it said that I was below 40. And I know that's not true, so I tested my level and I was at 78. Normally when there's like that big of a number fluctuation, the pump just goes be-doo, be-doo, be-doo. We're not accepting this. Wait 15 minutes, wash your hands, recheck, whatever. This sensor is unique. It did this to me too in Bemidji. So when I put this in, it was like 12:30 at night, and it just was not having the numbers that I was calibrating it with. But it's been hanging in there. It hasn't died yet. So this is a very unique, it has its own personality. And so it's been like just an up and down, up and down. So by the time I finally started feeling the effects of being low, it had been like half an hour since my pump said I was below 40. So then I start eating candies out of my Universal Yums box, which is Croatia this month, random fact. And then I finished off like some crackers and things like that. Started feeling worse, which usually doesn't happen with me. Like I struggle with my highs, not so much the lows. Weird, but whatever. So then I started cooking a packet of ramen, which, if I remember right, is like 54 grams of carbs per package. So it's a good amount of carbs. And I was feeling really, really crummy. So I think that package was expired. It tasted rather not like it was supposed to. So I'm testing it now, 218, and we think we are at, shoot. I thought we were at 250, so it's okay. And then Corey got here, and we always have wine on date nights. Bolus Wizard, deliver. Okay, so that was all fine and good, and it's just been a weird day. And I don't know if it's like the stress of downsizing and getting donation boxes put together and like packages put together for gifts, or work, or stress, or just being exhausted and frustrated and just everything. I think it's just everything. Yeah, I've never had a sensor like actually keep working when it's had such drastic highs and lows. So good for you, Medtronic. I have no explanation on that one. It's been a rough night, but that's okay. Fall is setting in. All of my aphids came back. Aphids? Yeah, I think. So, and they're in the strawberries now, so I think we're just gonna have to chuck that whole container. So that's gonna be a whole nother decent sized project that I have to do tomorrow. It's been a day. Like I said, I only worked like 4.5 hours, but it's been a day. Like just with my blood sugar levels, it's just, well, hopefully tomorrow is better because it can only get better, right? So everybody in the States drinks just drip coffee. After Corey and I went to Austria, Germany, and Switzerland, the espresso is just a whole another level of coffee. So we drink espresso. But I did find out that you can still be picky even with espresso coffee. So yeah, I like to make my own coffee mix. Okay, down you go. So in the international section of Walmart, there's this. It's a Turkish coffee. I don't know what really goes into it, like proportions, things like that. So they make it in a yedzfa, or at least that's what my Bosnian coworker calls it. So this little contraption, she calls a yedzfa. I think they call it something else. But this is made with cardamom. I'm looking for ingredients. I don't really see anything on that one. So I do 50 parts of the Turkish coffee and then this stuff. I love this stuff. I kind of got used to it. So back when 2020 was, you know, at its peakness, I bought this stuff and I kind of got used to it. So when I go back to the ye old Folgers, picky. This stuff is like $20 though per one of these things, so it's not the cheapest. I want to say this is like $7 or $8. I don't know, it lasts. So this is ground down to a fine dust. This is just regular coffee grade. So espresso, washing machine. Espresso is supposed to be really fine, but I've noticed with my coffee maker, which is a DeLonghi, I'm not using that correctly. If you have anything that's like that finely ground, it has issues with it. So it needs to, like when I make my coffee mix, it has to be the espresso ground along with the regular medium ground stuff. And I do have Bosnian coffee too, which is a whole nother flavor profile. They sell this for like $15 at the international market. You can get this at Walmart as well. So this is also just like a powder. So you're supposed to boil this in a yedzfa until it boils on the stovetop, and then you pour it into your cups, and you are intended to drink some of the stuff that comes out of it, the coffee. Okay, so, ooh. Use 2 equal parts of the Turkish coffee and the Death by Caffeine coffee. What you doing, huh? You trying to bite me for the last like half hour? Yeah, you were. So this is my setup. That's my messy, sloppy coffee and tea corner. Corey painted that one with oil paints. This is my table setup for fall. That's my fancy variegated Monstera Deliciosa elbow, Monstera Addisonii, and a Tetrasperma Raphidora. It's a Swiss cheese plant. I'm trying to learn the plant world. So that's what I have. And then I've been working on my story. Do you ever have projects where they just don't get done unless it's like a weird time of the day? This could be partially because I'm a night owl, but I don't know. It's quiet and I can actually work and focus on stuff. And it feels really good to actually get like writing projects started again, and that feels weird. Sounds weird. I went to school for writing because that's gonna make you money. Yeah, I found a podcast that is actually like really inspiring, and they have a Facebook group that will hold you accountable and like keep encouraging you to do writing projects. So that kind of got the ball rolling on a new project that I'm doing, where it's the three friends of us from college, and there's things that bother us, and like we're all busy with life and work, and like when people just leave their grocery carts in the parking lot, they don't put them away, and it just... So we're gonna be evil villains or super villains, and I'm finally getting some of that hammered out now, and it feels really good and really stupid at the same time, but it makes me forget about work and, you know, the plague. So that's good. And the cat's hunkered down on the chair next to me, not trying to bite me, so that's nice. So that's just a random thing. I've had all day to do this, all day to myself, and I have not really done anything. I started watching TikTok videos, and I will never get those hours back in my life. Not the biggest fan of TikTok. They suck you in, but this is much more productive, so we'll see how that goes. So stress affects everybody differently for a lot of different reasons. I never really realized that it affects your blood sugar levels until this guy. So, and I've noticed it in a number of ways, but it just kind of got highlighted for me today. I forgot what day I had to do my sensor change, because I had a sensor that failed, and then I replaced it and put a new one in at like 1 in the morning. So then with that 2-hour marinating time, it was a late night, and my brain was rather foggy at that point. So I had a late start in the day to do this, but this didn't hurt and it didn't bleed. I always bleed on the arms, but so that's good. My friend from college and I were supposed to have a video call today, and I had been texting her, calling her, FaceTiming her, Snapchatting, whatever, like I couldn't get a hold of her, and I started to get a little unsettled because she tested positive a couple days ago. Hey, don't bite me. Not the biggest thing in the world, but still it makes me nervous because I work in a hospital and I see the bad side of things. So I was getting worried. But I also noticed that, there we go. So I've had the day off and my levels have just been like steadily high, and I've been moving around. I finally finished clearing out half the closet for when Corey moves in, and yeah, I just felt kind of rather yucky today, and that's why. So, but at least I know what to expect when I get really stressed out. Like I know what I feel like when I'm stressed out from work and like being like physically run down. My levels are just up and down, but like when I'm actually just stressed out, I don't know how to explain that. For different reasons, my levels are just always elevated. So that was an interesting little tidbit. Finally got a hold of her though. She's just sleeping like 14 hours a day, trying to fight off the plague. So that's it's better than where my paranoia thoughts were going. So that's good.